Coming out of the last game, we're excited about the next one, and obviously weren't able to go play that one. I think I took a little wind out of our kids' sails, had to regroup a little bit, and hopefully made some improvements over the open week coming into game week as we get ready for Robert Morris, a new member of the Big South, who has only played one game this spring, and they played against James Madison, who in some polls is ranked number one in the country. Robert Morris was up at halftime. I think it was 16-9 at halftime. Good football team, good quarterback, good running back, do some really good stuff. Obviously, it's our first time playing them, and only really one game. I mean, obviously, 19 was a long time ago. So they do a really nice job, are well coached. So it's just like every game, man, you got to get ready to go play. It's day to day and week to week right now. We got to go have a great week of practice and get prepared to go play a game on Saturday. That's a conference game. It's at home and a really good opponent. So excited about the opportunity. Definitely glad it's game week. Definitely glad we got a game on Saturday. And at this point, I'll open the floor for questions.
Hey, Coach. When we last talked, we were hoping that Jonathan Murphy would be ready for this game. I see on the depth chart he's listed as the starter, but how has he progressed? Is he close to 100%?
He's practicing right now, which is a positive. So we'll see how the week goes, John. But he is practicing right now, and hopefully he'll be available for Saturday. But there's really, all those guys we're working right now to get ready to go. Play on Saturday. So, but he is practicing, which he really hadn't been the last several weeks.
With Robert Morris only playing one game, and it was back in February, does preparing for them, is there any difference in a normal situation where you have plenty of game film? Are there any additional challenges with only having one game to go by?
Well, it just kind of is what it is a little bit. You obviously can go back and look at 19, but they're different. They've grown up a lot and done some different things. But, so you have some of that. Then you have the one game against James Madison, and you take that and, you put together a plan. And ultimately, can we get our kids to go dial in and focusing on doing their job? And that's the number one thing. Can we do that? Can we do it consistently? Can we do it for 4 quarters? I know I sound like a broken record, but it's really where we are. And if we don't do those things, then we're not going to give ourselves a chance. And especially when you're playing a good football team like Robert Morris is. So I think you take what you got and you go build a plan, and then you get your kids dialed in and see if we can get them focused in to do their job. And then, like we've had to do just about every week, you make a lot of in-game adjustments, to whatever that plan is on in all 3 phases. You have to make some in-game adjustments. And really the way this season's gone, it's about every week you're in that mode a little bit. You're always in that mode, but there's just not enough. There's probably not enough track record in this season, to really identify, what a team wants to do all the time. So you got to make some adjustments in game and be able to identify those things and help put our kids in a situation where they can be successful. So take care of ourselves first and then adjust as we go.
How has the energy been over the last week plus? Because you were concerned about that after the last game, trying to get the guys with the sense of urgency and, to hit it hard.
Yeah, it's kind of hot and cold. There's times there's a pep in our step. There's times it's a little bit of a lull. It's kind of hot and cold, and we're trying to get them all going in the right direction. We got, we got a bunch of guys banged up, and we're trying to get them back. And there's a lot going on to get to where we can practice at the right pace that we need to. So there's times it's positive, and then there's times it's a little bit of a lull, kind of been the theme of spring of 21, to try to get some consistency at what we're doing. And it's been a little bit of a struggle.
Coach, again, when we last spoke, you had no idea what was going to happen with the game that was canceled last week. Has the conference given you any more of an indication on what they may try to do, if anything?
No, don't have anything other than what everybody knows right now. Don't know anything else. So we're just taking the approach of take care of ourselves day by day, and then when that time comes, we'll deal with whatever's thrown at us. I told our guys, when I told them on Monday, and I had a feeling the game wasn't going to go, but we didn't know till Monday afternoon. It did take the wind out of their sails, and because I think there were some things they recognized they wanted to be better at and go attack it, and it's a little challenging with as much practice as we've had. Sometimes an open week's not always the best thing. You need that nugget at the end of the week, that game that everybody lives for, so. But I told them at the time, I said, listen, guys, something's going to come up again now. This is just, you need to be prepared. There's going to be some things that happen. I don't know what they're going to be. There are going to be adjustments. I don't know. I said, I don't know either. I said, you kind of gotta be prepared for that. It's just kind of the climate we're in right now. So, and that was the first one that really affected them. Everything else, even though it's been different, that was the first time we've been hit with something like that. So, but I think we've regrouped from that and really working on, we really need to have a good day today and a good day tomorrow, practice. And I think that'll put us in the right direction.
Coach, looking at your season stats this year, 15 trips to the red zone, take away 1 kneel down. So you've scored in all but 1 red zone trip, 9 touchdowns and 4 field goals. And I know you like Nathan Robertson, but 6 is preferable to 3. What has red zone offense looked like in practice as far as the ability to, when we do get in the red zone, to be able to push it in for 6 as opposed to settling for 3?
Well, I think a lot of times it comes down to, however you want to frame it. We can't have any negative plays when we get in the red zone, meaning it may only be a yard or 2 gain, but we got to keep moving forward. And the negative plays are the ones that get you off schedule. And if we can stay away from those, as good as Nathan is, we want to score 6 points. And that's always been the goal when we have the ball, period, much less in the red zone. So I think it's about everybody doing their job, to the best of their ability in a given moment. The focus and the attention to detail it's at an all new level when you get in the red zone, because you're getting close to where you're trying to get to. And so I think it's as much about that as anything. And that's stuff we try to work on in practice. We do a goal line period every Tuesday. We're always doing different stuff situationally to try to create awareness of where we are and what we're trying to get accomplished. So again, it's just everybody doing their job and staying focused in a moment and not letting the moment be too big for them. I think that's the most important thing.
Thanks, Coach. Talking quarterbacks again, we spoke about Murphy a little bit, but with Xavier Shepherd coming in and being able to really solidify the end of that last game against Dixie State, how impressive was it? I believe it was the first play he came in. There was a pass called. He completed a pass. What does that say about his ability to step in a key situation like that and have no flutters and deliver a very crucial pass?
We tell those guys all the time that you're one play away from being the guy. You know what I mean? And I think one of the hardest things to do is be the backup quarterback or even the third team quarterback, whatever it is, because you got to be ready all the time. And your moment may come and it may not. And that's not easy, and to X's credit, he's prepared himself. So when that moment came a couple of weeks ago, he was ready and he went in, to his credit, and executed the offense. You know what I mean? He took care of the ball, he executed the offense and led us to scoring drives, to win the game. So he was ready. He prepared himself. He's done a nice job. And I'd even said in practice that he's really executing the option part of our game at a high level, meaning he's dialed into what he's doing. He's doing a nice job executing. You could see in practice. and it carried over into the game. And to his credit, he prepared himself, and the moment wasn't too big for him, and he was able to seize the moment. So I think it's always a challenge for those guys, but we got a bunch of guys over there preparing right now. I mean, Jonathan Murphy's getting prepared, Xavier Shepard's getting prepared. You got D'Angelo Hardy, you got LD Clarity, those two freshmen. They're all got to get ready to go. You know what I mean? And they, because you just never know when their number is going to be called. They got to be ready to go. And if you're not, the moment will get you. But to X's credit, he was ready. He seized the moment. He's really been practicing fairly well and doing some really good things and preparing himself.
Can you think back to when it was during his Kennesaw State career where in practice you kind of got the vibe that he has control of the option?
I'm sure it started before then, but really it started to show up, in the last week or two before, you could start to see it a little bit that he was executing, and this is before he went in the game, that when he was getting reps, he was able to go execute at a high level. And even if it was in a certain situation in practice or whatever. So, and he was going in regardless, just good for him. He prepared himself. You know what I mean? Like he was the next guy up, and to his credit, again, he prepared himself and got himself ready to go. So I hope all of those guys in that room understand that. And I think they do, that they got to get ready to go. So definitely saw him start to execute, several weeks prior to him entering the game. He started doing some good things in practice.
And what have you seen out of Will Hagler since his last performance when he had a breakout game, 3 catches for 77 yards? Has he been able to carry that into practice?
Yeah, you can tell he's got a little more confidence. And we haven't been able to get those guys the ball as much as we'd like at times. I mean, we'd like to get it out there a little bit more, but a lot of times it's predicated on the defense and what we can get accomplished. So, but I think it was a boost for him. He was better at his blocking, and I hopefully he'll continue to build on that. And he also can become another go-to guy that we can have because we're going to need him. The biggest catch of the day was the third down conversion. He had to go down and scoop it up, and that was huge in the game. So I hope he can build on that and continue to build on his blocking and be one of those reliable go-to guys, in certain situations that we can get the ball to when we need to. So, and he's doing some good things in practice. I think he's carrying himself a little more confidence right now. I think it was a boost for him to get some catches in the games, a few weeks ago.
Thanks so much, Coach. John, Don, Nathan, I'll turn it back to you guys for any questions here for Coach. All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time and best of luck Saturday at 1:00 kickoff against Robert Morris.